don't think about Hollywood. I don't have much further need for Hollywood myself. I don't know how you guys feel, but yeah, I think it's a very strange, funny time where everybody would love to be able to be themselves, or they can't, because they must fall in line with the person in front of them. You want to live that kind of life, I wish you the best. I'll be on the other side somewhere.
Ryan Reynolds has built his career as Hollywood's lovable wisecracker, the guy who never takes himself too seriously and always seems to be in on the joke. He's become the internet's favorite movie star, a social media icon, and a self-made business mogul. With his effortless charm, quick wit, and self-deprecating humor, he's won over fans everywhere, making him one of the most beloved actors in the industry. Ryan strikes the perfect balance of funny, relatable, and successful, and he's also a devoted husband to Blake Lively and a father of 4. Plus, every tweet he sends out seems to go viral. But what if that carefully cultivated persona is just another role he's playing? For years, Reynolds has embraced the nice guy image, leaning into the idea that he's just an average guy who got lucky in Hollywood. Unlike many other celebrities who struggle to connect with the public, Ryan makes it look effortless. He roasts himself before anyone else can, poking fun at his own career missteps, Green Lantern anyone? And always seems to be in control of his narrative. But in Hollywood, things are rarely as simple as they seem, and cracks in Ryan's perfect public image are beginning to appear. What's lurking beneath the surface might not be what fans expected. A growing number of people in Hollywood, former co-stars, journalists, and even former colleagues are starting to suggest that Reynolds' image is, in fact, just that, an image. And when you start connecting the dots, a pattern begins to emerge. The first major hint that Ryan Reynolds may not be the easygoing, fun-loving guy he projects came from an unexpected source. An article in Deadspin published in 2022. At first glance, the piece seemed like another flattering tribute to Ryan's charm, but if you looked closer, there was a different message beneath the surface. The article painted Ryan as a man who had reached the pinnacle of Hollywood's social hierarchy and no longer felt the need to play by the rules. It suggested that with his fame, fortune, and the public's adoration, he no longer cared about keeping up appearances. On its own, that might not have been enough to raise alarms. But when you add in comments from his Deadpool co-star TJ Miller, the picture becomes much clearer.
So I think, but he's such a good comedian that when you cover his face, he's so quick, he's so funny. So I love him as a comedian. But I think after he got super, super famous from the first Deadpool, then things kind of changed. I think he was like, see, you guys see. And then I think I don't know. I mean, would I work with him again? No. And I think it's weird that he hates me.
Well, how do you know?
Some people.
Do you know he hates?
We had a really weird moment on Deadpool where he said, let's do one more take. And everyone was like, okay. And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. And then as the character, he was like horrifically mean to me. But to me.
Cathartic.
As if I'm Weasel.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So he was like, you know what's great about you, Weasel? You're not the star. But you just, you do just enough exposition that it's funny, and then we can leave and get back to the real
So he's
movie.
riffing.
And then I got a situation, I walked over, and the whole crew was acting weird. And then I went up to Kate, and I was like, that was weird, right? And she was like, of course it was fucking weird. He was insane. Maybe he got, I think he's kind of an insecure dude. He's really nice, but, I mean, his Twitter bio is showing you the parts of me that Focus tested the best in focus groups.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure that he...
T.J. Miller, who played Weasel in the first 2 Deadpool movies, didn't hold back when discussing his experience working with Ryan Reynolds. According to Miller, Rand changed after the success of Deadpool becoming someone entirely different. He recalled a moment on set when Ryan, still in character as Deadpool, turned to him and started making cutting, personal remarks, not about the character he was playing, but about TJ himself. Though the insults were framed as jokes, Miller was taken aback by how personal they felt. When the cameras stopped rolling, the atmosphere on set shifted. The crew, normally used to Ryan's humor, suddenly seemed uncomfortable. Even Miller's own colleagues reassured him that what had just happened wasn't typical behavior. The incident left such an impression on Miller that he later admitted he would never work with Ryan again. For someone whose entire public persona is built on being the nice guy, that's a major red flag. Then there's Martha Stewart. While she may not be the first person you'd expect to weigh in on Ryan Reynolds, her insight is revealing. In an interview, Stewart described Ryan as not nearly as funny in real life as he appears on screen, and she noted that he was much more serious than people typically assume. While this doesn't necessarily paint him in a negative light, it does contribute to the growing pattern of contrasting images surrounding Ryan's public persona.
Over to my house. And, you haven't been over for a while, but
You know you have to invite me.
but you came for Easter, and we had such a good time. It was very very fun to have you on. And Ryan, how's Ryan?
He's good.
Oh,
He's
good.
good. Yeah, Martha, when we met, Martha's like, "Oh, I know how to ride motorcycles. I'll ride with you, Ryan." That's the only woman that could creep up on my man that I would be okay with. I was like, go, please.
Ryan Reynolds isn't quite the same person when the cameras are off. That funny, down-to-earth persona may not be as natural as it seems. Here's where things take a sharp turn. Ryan has frequently spoken about his approach to conflict resolution, claiming it's the most valuable skill he's ever learned. He emphasizes the importance of actively listening, empathizing, and trying to understand others' perspectives. In theory, that sounds great, but if this is truly his guiding principle, then why did he reportedly summon director Justin Baldoni to his penthouse for a private scolding over a misunderstanding involving Blake Lively? The incident began when Baldoni asked Blake about her weight while preparing for a scene, something he later explained was for safety reasons due to a past back injury. If Ryan genuinely practices what he preaches, wouldn't he have taken a moment to understand Baldoni's perspective before launching into an angry confrontation? Instead, Baldoni described the encounter as traumatic and said he had never been spoken to that way in his life. This seems far removed from Ryan's publicly stated values of kindness and patience. Then there's the Saturday Night Live 50th anniversary special, a moment that should have been a celebration but raised even more questions about Ryan and Blake. During the event, the couple cracked jokes about a legal situation involving Baldoni, seemingly using the opportunity to deflect public scrutiny away from themselves.
Great.
Why? What have you heard?
People were like, dude, why are you making fun of SH about your wife at your wife's expense?
Instead of winning the audience over, the stunt backfired. People saw right through it. If Ryan and Blake were truly affected by the situation, why make light of it? It seemed as though they were turning something they had previously presented as a serious issue into a joke. This kind of inconsistency only fuels speculation. Were they ever really the victims, or were they just trying to control the narrative? And speaking of control, there have been plenty of reports suggesting that Ryan is a perfectionist when it comes to his work. That in itself isn't a bad thing. Many successful people are meticulous about their projects. But there's a difference between being dedicated and being a control freak. Some who've worked with him claim Ryan is so deeply involved in every aspect of his films that it can be difficult to collaborate with him. If true, this challenges the image of him as the easygoing, fun-loving guy who goes with the flow. Instead, it paints a picture of someone who is hyper-aware of his image and unwilling to let anything threaten it. So where does that leave us? The truth is, we may never fully know who the real Ryan Reynolds is. Maybe he's a combination of both the funny, charming guy we see in interviews and the more serious, sometimes ruthless businessman behind the scenes. But one thing is becoming clearer. The cracks in his perfect persona are starting to show, and people are starting to notice. Hollywood has always been a place where image is everything, but even the most carefully crafted images can only hold up for so long. Ryan has spent years cultivating a reputation as the industry's most likable leading man. But as more people come forward with their experiences, and as more inconsistencies in his behavior come to light, the question remains, will the real Ryan Reynolds please stand up? Or has he spent so much time playing the role of the nice guy that he's lost sight of who he really is? One thing is for sure, no one stays untouchable forever. And if you think this story is wild, just wait until you hear what's really been happening with Blake Lively's career. There's more to this Hollywood power couple than meets the eye, and the truth might just change everything.